welcome to Popcorn Planet. I'm Andy Signor, and I'm so excited to talk about something silly with my friends from Nerd Wars. That's right, I have them here. Adon and Damien, I did it right!
Yay!
I clicked that like 10 times, and I had made to do 100 times. There it is. Oh, I did it. That's the wrong one, but that's close enough. Now you're not there. Where is you?
No, we're there. We're on the other side of the corner.
Okay, now I got it. All right, well, I'm going to keep this because I've done too many takes. I had a different button I'm not used to. But here's the story. You guys sort of saw it, teased. Mena Massoud hasn't had a single audition since starring in Aladdin. So there's a lot of people talking about this article. He's gone forward because he's like, what am I going to do? I want people to know that it's not always dandelions and roses when you're doing something like Aladdin. What's his name? Mena? I'm sorry.
Mena.
Dude, Mena, I'm talking to you directly.
Mena?
This was a bad decision. Like, just like Milk in Anchorman was a bad decision. Milk was a bad decision. Remember when he drinks in the hot milk? What are you doing, man? You can't show failure in Hollywood. That's gonna kill you even harder. Yeah. If you gotta pretend like you gotta do a tweet that's like, oh my god, I'm getting so many auditions since Aladdin, I don't even know what to do. Oh my god, what should I do with all these millions of auditions? I'm going. Am I right, guys?
Yeah. You gotta fake it to make it.
even at that, even if you're trying to say like you're not getting auditions, you sell it as like you're choosing not to get those auditions.
Yes.
So you can make it seem like you're that important that you don't need to do that.
Focusing on the craft, focusing on family, taking a little time after the success of Aladdin to build new characters. Anything.
After Aladdin, I didn't want to be typecast as just Aladdin, so I've really been looking carefully on my material. But man, I've been getting so much that it's really I don't know what to do. But I hope something gets through. Maybe an independent project or something that I can really sink my teeth into. I'm open to. That's how you ease it in, right?
Which, by the way, okay, you're a good-looking Indian actor or Middle Eastern actor. Yes, you want to do stuff in the States, but that doesn't mean that you can't. There's a huge Middle Eastern Indian influence over in Europe. You don't have to just do Hollywood. You could do a very character piece over in Europe right now, or you can do a really cool indie. I'm sure people would be dying at the bit to give him a part in their film. And I'm not talking about like a student film. I'm talking about like an indie, like Fox Searchlight kind of a thing. And you can do something so that you don't get typecasted as just the guy from Aladdin. I mean, I'm wondering what his agent's telling him.
Let's look at this article because it's like right here. It's telling us Mena Massoud after Aladdin 1 million. I still couldn't get an audition. This is just a terrible look. Again, it's like fake it till you make it, right? In Hollywood, you can't just go and say you're not a failure. So anyway, the article it's not just always. He is gonna he is ahead of his debut series Hulu's Reprisal, which I guess he shot before then. But he goes on to say, I'm kind of tired of staying quiet about it. I want people to know that it's not always dandelions and roses when you're doing something like Aladdin. He must have made millions. He must be getting all these offers. It's none of these things. I haven't had a single audition since Aladdin came out. No, don't admit it. It's wild. It's wild to a lot of people. He says people have these ideas in their head. It's like I'm sitting here being like, okay, Aladdin just hit 1 billion. Can I at least get an audition? Like, I'm not expecting you to be like, here's Batman, but can I just get in the room? Like, can you just give me a chance? So it's not always what you think. I think this is a terrible look. He's trying to be honest, and I guess I don't think honesty works in Hollywood. Do you guys disagree?
I mean, you can give him the respect of like he's being upfront and honest about how difficult it is for him, but at the same time, usually when I see something like that, that's after someone has had a career and they either did a project that is kind of damaging their career as far as like, I should never have done that role or I should have done more into that role, and they're trying to recover that, or B, that they're giving up on it entirely. And that's why I feel like if you're going to be talking about like, it's this difficult, I can't do this, I'm giving up as an actor, then go ahead, confess and write a memoir.
Yeah, but here's the thing, is that we've seen actors disappear for a while.
And they come back with a vengeance.
And then they come back with a vengeance. So this is one of those things where not saying something is saying something. Don't get me wrong. I guess any publicity is good publicity, but I'm looking at agents and I'm looking at casting directors and saying, is this something that if I was looking at it as a casting director later on for my project, do I really want to be the guy who like does the pity hire now?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Well, not only that, but like he's really, now the whole world knows he's sort of worthless.
exactly.
That's just a bad look. He says here, there's always a wild card or two when you're casting. I'm usually the wild card. In a room of Caucasian guys, a director might be like, okay, let's see like 2 guys who aren't. And maybe they'll be the wild card choice. Oof. I feel like I'm going to be overlooked and underestimated for a long time. Kind of like Aladdin, right? How ironic. Because I'm a young actor. I'm up and comer in the sense that I've been doing this for 10 years, but to a lot of people, Aladdin's the first thing they've seen me in. So I think I'm going to be viewed that way for a long time. I'm going to have to work at chipping that away. Look, the other question is, was he good in Aladdin? Like, I don't think he was bad, but I don't think he was like the star. I think the girl was the star in Aladdin. She was way better. And Will Smith was sort of what everyone was focused on. But I don't think he was like, he wasn't, I think that's the realistic problem here of like, he was not one of those roles you're like, oh my God, who is that? He was so good as Aladdin. I got to see him again. Like, he didn't have that moment. You saw it, right, Damien? Did you disagree?
Right. No, I agree with that, but I don't know if it was his fault as much as it was the writing of the part of Aladdin. I think they wanted to emphasize Jasmine so much more in this new era of empowering, the opposite sex, which is fantastic. But it then turned his character into an overshadowed character between Will Smith and what they gave her. His character did get overshadowed a bit. So I don't think it was his fault as much as it was probably the emphasis of the film. That being said, he's got material. Apparently he's got a show on Hulu or something you just read.
Yeah.
So he could have just waited till his Hulu show came out, and some people would have checked that out and just been like, "Oh, look, it's the guy from Aladdin," and then he would have gotten auditions.
See how that plays. See how that.
I think this is premature. Like had the Hulu thing came out, and he had a whole season of Hulu also out there, and then all of a sudden he still wasn't getting auditions. Maybe.
Well, he said it himself. He's like, most people didn't even know who I was until after Aladdin. He's like, I've been doing it for 10 years. I'm like, bro, there's been people that have been acting for like 30, 40 years, and they don't get noticed until around that time.
Yeah, I mean, Samuel L. Jackson, I've always thought he was just older. There's certain actors that you just met them older and never knew that their younger roles because their big role was when they were older. I mean, that's the art form. I mean, some painters have it worse. They no one knows them until they're dead. So,
well, I'm trying to look up who reps him, because that, to me, whoever reps him is awful, and it does. I can't get in. It doesn't say. It looks like some sort of Canadian. He's got some Los Angeles connections too. But yeah, I mean, look, you can't look this way in Hollywood. It's all about, your status and your social media followings and how popular you are. And if you're going to now publicly admit to the world that you're not popular, no one's going to call now. Like, it's not like the pity hire where like the guy from a different world was working at Trader Joe's and it's like, well, or that I respect that guy. Like, he's bagging groceries to try and make a living. That's not a pity hire. That's like I respect that guy. Yeah, come on, you were great. Come work with me. This is a pity hire if I've ever seen it. And now it's like, you weren't that good, dude.
Even if it's not a pity hire, like how many times have we seen like actors or actresses that like they pretty much dog like what they've done, and they say they can't get further in a career, and like no one wants to hire them because now like, oh, they're going to talk bad about us if they're not happy with how their career is going after this performance when we gave them the opportunity.
There's been plenty of actors who keep their lips tight about how bad it was on a set or whatever the case is, or how bad they didn't like a performance for years after it comes out. Like, it's the 20th anniversary. Okay, guys, let me tell you how much I hated that film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they know because for the publicity and for the actors. I mean, right now, the stock in an actor, I'm just talking about any actor, who says, I haven't gotten an audition. So am I going to offer you top dollar if I give you an audition? And be like, hey, I was in that film, that big $1 billion film. Yeah, but you haven't had an audition, so I'm going to pay you. I'm going to pay you scale.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think he takes scale at this point. It sounds like I don't think he's talking about the money. I think he's just hoping he's going to get roles. But I don't think he's going to get roles now that he's revealed this about himself. I mean, he even goes here, the last little comment here was, I think since Aladdin, my expectations for things releasing and what they're going to do to my career, I've had to really pull them back. Because, I got the same question about Aladdin, and it was like, oh, Aladdin's coming out. How do you feel about what's going to do to your career? The big truth is I haven't really seen a big anything from it. As for whether people are going to discover me from it or what's going to happen, I literally have no clue. I can't tell you. I know how things are going to work anymore. I mean, welcome to the world, dude. Like, that's how it works all across the board. And people aren't, I mean, if you're not getting a role, like, you're Aladdin. Like, prep it. If you're not getting calls, find somebody who knows how to produce and like get something going off the ground, or see if you can buy a book, or like he had enough cred coming out of that movie that anybody worth their, who's good enough, a go-getter, who's somebody who has something,
Coulda ran
is
with
gonna
that.
figure it out and run with it and be like, I'm gonna exploit this the best I can and get at least another one jump ahead of the next one.
Yeah.
And he didn't plan. He just sort of prepared it.
Hell, like even on the convention circuit, like he could have just made like bang, like I'm Aladdin, just show up at a convention. This is like $50 a photo. The kids will line up, and then and that gets his face out there. It's free publicity at that point, and then like from there he's like, boom, I'm getting my face out there. I'm getting, and it's like not necessarily auditions, but I'm making profit.
Look at young
getting, viewed.
Look at young Vin Diesel. You know what I mean? Who was in Saving Private Ryan, did a couple things, and he started producing his own films and getting himself out there. Mark Wahlberg did the same thing. Those guys would have just been one-hit wonders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Had they not just taken the initiative to be like, you know what? I'm gonna ride this wave, and I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna put myself in as the lead role. I'm not saying that he made a bunch of money off of Aladdin, but there's enough credibility to go to a financier. You can go to a financier and say, look, here's an idea for a film. I just played Aladdin, just did $1 billion. I got this other idea for a film. What do you think? And you can get producers and financiers to come together just banked on your ticket sales alone. That works. We know this from producing things, that if you had a star attached to a script, you can sometimes get it funded.
Right. Well, you got to go back too, because remember Aladdin, when this was casting, there was a lot of controversy because they weren't hiring Arab actors, and they were figuring out how to like sort of get around that to have a star play Aladdin. And the reality is they did go and make sure they had Arab actors, but the problem was, look, he wasn't that good. He was fine. He was a pretty boy who did a fine job, but he didn't have that it factor that you're just like, just because he had abs and looks pretty eyes, he didn't have the it factor that sort of, I think skyrockets someone and like, oh, I got to get that guy in my, well, get over here. And it's like, yes, diversity, it's harder because he's not the white guy. I believe him in that. But then it's like, if you go to other, or even, I'm just trying to think of like Indian actors, like Dev Patel, like from Slumdog Millionaire, he was good in that movie a lot, but his acting stood up, and then he managed to like really grind. Like he got on TV, he got in so many movies and things, and now that guy's really, he's not a megastar by any means,
but he's a working actor.
He's a working actor, and he hit the road hard, and he knew how to do it, and he was respectful. And so, I'm sorry, Mena, no offense, but look, you got to get out there. You got to take meetings, even if you're not getting the auditions. Like, figure out a way to like meet with somebody, or go into the convention circuit so you can be doing autographs next to somebody who's like, hey, you should hire Aladdin. Like, there's just ways you do it instead of going to the press and be like, come on, somebody hire me. I just read this and I just get, I dislike him more. Am I crazy?
No, like I said, I guaranteed if he did that, like just being there, they would have had to hire security just to keep the fans off.
Yeah, and then
because he would have been the only Disney like literal star showing up at like a Comic-Con, and then people were like, oh shoot, this guy's here, we need to have people going out, and he'd be like, yeah, I'm a little bit of a celebrity now. But that's the thing about it, is you build a notoriety not necessarily from your film, but like from the people around and the followers that are there.
Well, because I can't remember her name, but it's Naomi Scott who played Jasmine. Like she's in Charlie's Angels, which bombed, but still, but she's gotten stuff out of this. I remember seeing her in the Power Rangers as Pink Ranger reboot, and she was actually pretty good compared to all the other cast members. So she's one that and correct me if I'm wrong, but she had the it factor when I watched. I'm like, all right, she's good as Jasmine. I could see her in other things. And I think it's like between her and Will Smith, Mena Massoud just took third fiddle and was just like,
overshadowed.
You're not the star, man. Even though it's your name, no one really cares about Aladdin. We care about the genie. And we care about Jasmine. We care about Abu probably more than we do about Aladdin.
Hey, listen, even
There's
when
more
I watch
Jafar
the show,
fans out there.
Yeah, exactly.
even when I watch the show, like I really watch for the genie and Jasmine. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and you make a good point. Marwan, who played Jafar in that movie, who was terrible, I bet you he's not doing well either.
Well, you know what though? But okay, so he played Jafar. So let's on the rung of characters for that film, he was probably the least liked character in that film. And what's he doing? What's he got on his IMDb?
He's got more projects than Aladdin does.
He was in Ben-Hur.
Yeah, he's
got something Deost, and he's got the Old Guard and Instinct. He's got 3 things since then.
Yeah, he was also in The Mummy. Wow. Okay, so forgot him.
So let's look at it like that and say, okay, are those big films? No. Are they even?
He's working something,
but he's doing something, and there's something to be said about. Like, man, you can't. First of all, I don't think anyone in Hollywood can expect things to come to them. You know what I mean? Immediately
Even after a big role, yeah.
He's filming a voice role in Lami's poem. There we go. And he got a Hulu show. That's still pretty good.
And how
There's
many
a lot of
episodes?
people
Like,
that
one,
kill
two?
for a Hulu show.
And
One,
dude,
two,
you have
three,
Will
four,
Smith
five,
on your
six,
cell
7.
phone. Come on. Don't be desperate. If you're gonna be desperate, at least be desperate to Will Smith and be like, hey Will, can you hook me up with like something?
Like, Will, can you put me on
Can I
like
be
those
in
little
like your
short?
son's next movie as like his friend or
I
something?
just want to be on those short videos you do, Will Smith, of inspiration. Just bring me on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can I do an
Will Smith
Instagram video with you that'll get me seen by
Will,
people?
Will Smith's Instagram is his feed is just so sick. That's all you really have to do. You just give it like,
And he's
"Yeah, man."
partnered up with amazing VFX guys who were like, please, can I work with you, Will Smith? He's like, hell's yeah, you can. Want to make me a video? Here's $500. He's probably paying them garbage, but they're doing it because they're getting massive, reels, right?
You get with a visual effects supervisor from Disney and be like, hey, man, so do you want to direct my next film? And it's just a little indie. And they'll probably be like, yes, I want to get my chance at directing. There's just so many resources right now. There's so many Hollywood directors that are, at that indie level and above and doing TV and stuff like that. He could just be like, yo, man, so what's up? Let's have a meeting. I'm sure he's doing it. I'm sure he's out there doing his networking. But what it sounds like, it doesn't sound like he's networking. It just the way it's positioned, the way it's phrased, it sounds like he's waiting to come to him.
Right, and he's sort of like, oh my God, I was in Aladdin, which was such a huge Disney thing. Why aren't I getting at least a legit offer? And dude, welcome to reality. Get your S in gear and get out there, and don't put out articles like this. This was a terrible idea, and I'm sure agencies are gonna be like, good luck, man. See you later. Because now you're making them look bad too.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing you want to do is make your agent look bad. Like, yeah, my agent's not getting me any calls. You are that was the dumbest thing in the world. Final thoughts from either of you guys before we wrap up?
It feels like he was expecting something to change overnight in regards to this, and like we hammered on is things don't change overnight. You can have a major performance and major role, but that still takes work to grow, and still takes that drive to like network yourself and build that out. And we've seen that time and time with people who are developing and people who have been established who've fallen off and need to come back.
Yeah, my only thing is that, man, I hope that you do get more roles. I mean, I would love to see your talent shine, but I think you may have to make those roles yourself. You may have to carve your own path and not get if they're not letting you in the room and they're not they have you as the wild card. Man, write and produce something, or get with a writer and get with a producer and just do your own thing. I mean, you may have to go back to the indie route for that kind of stuff, and it sucks. But
the fact that you have Will Smith in your Rolodex, that is your thing you can exploit. Go partner with someone better than you who's got a killer idea and take it to him, right? You got to make sure you got a good idea before you do it. But dude, that alone, people would kill for the fact to say, oh my God, well, you can pitch it to Will. Like, that's how Hollywood works. Yeah. And if now Will's going to be like, dude, you shouldn't have put that, I can't work with you because you just showed yourself as a failure. He might have done it otherwise if you had actually taken the next couple months off you made enough money off Aladdin to take a couple months off still and develop something big with somebody else. Dude, you're right. Damien, wouldn't you have developed a massive, amazingly cool script and effects piece for Mena to pitch to Will?
I would have loved to. Yeah, I mean, we could have worked together, and like I said, I know people that you can call, and they would sit there and go, yeah, hey, the guy from Aladdin, sure, I would love to give you the chance. It may not be the big Disney production, obviously, but like I said, you could have gone with a Fox. You could have gone with a indie. What's another indie one that was good? That there's a lot of good indie films.
Yeah, I mean A24 right now would kill it, but I mean they're pretty hard to get into now. I imagine too. They're probably like, yeah, no, we don't want the pretty boy Aladdin. Well, no, but the truth is, you could write a cool Black Mirror or something about the pretty boy Aladdin character going to a dark place. That's what it's about. You got to take your own initiative, be creative, and if you're not, call us.
We'll come up with ideas for you. We'll cast you in something. I promise.
Somebody out there will.
Only scale.
Well, that's what we got. Thank you for watching. What do you think? Hit me down in the comments below or up on social media. Thank you to Damien and Don for coming by. Check out Nerd Tots and Damien's film soon. You can hit them up. Their socials are in the description down below. And stay tuned for more Nerd Wars Thursday night. Or check out last night's. It was a lot of fun. A lot more coming forward. So thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome day. And we'll be back with more content soon. Bye!